kind of movement. So he, and I agree with him. This is a quote, and I got the reason I found out about his efforts mainly was an article in the Los Angeles Times. One of the quotes that they wrote down that he said is we saw that there was not going to be a good music scene in the future if pay to play continues to exist. And I agree. It really is a demotivator. It just brings down morale for a band that if they have to sell tickets to anybody, they're only going to really get a turnout of their brother, sister, mom, dad, aunt, grandma, and then they leave right after you're done playing, when instead it should have just been a whole night event. It's like, why are you going to pay your nephew, what have you, $10-15 for a ticket where you're only going to see him for 35 minutes and see him put his shit away when everybody can stay? It's broken.
Theoretically speaking, all the tickets each band would sell, and to kind of give you a hypothetical.
Yeah,
it's a great business model to bring in that many more heads to the bar. But it's like you said, first of all, they're going to leave after their set or hang out for a bit. Most people would anyways.
Not in my experience. Everybody just leaves. Like, there's no camaraderie, too, amongst the musicians. Well, that's all competition.
And I was about to say, it's probably better for the bar to make money that way. But, I mean, if that's a way to make money, why not share the wealth a little bit? Or at least not charge as much? Or, I mean, what do you think about this? What if these pay-for-play venues provided equipment to use?
Oftentimes they do. Like, they'll provide the PA system, but it's not the best. Usually there's something wrong with it. You might as well have brought your own shit, but they don't give you enough time to set up, tear down, so you're just really...
I mean, I've been to a couple bars and a couple of breweries that have done exactly that. You see the guys fucking, like, fighting to get in and out of the fucking backstage over there, so...
Yeah, dude, it's no fun. Like, the fucking whiskey, a lot of the places in the Sunset Strip, that's kind of the challenge that bands take on, where if they want to play there, just
City Lights
of the name,
do that?
I don't think so. Hacienda Heights, City Lights, just that's a dive. But yeah, it sucks. So we're having him on in the next episode. I'm really excited about it. He's going to come down and talk about his efforts, and anything that we can do as a podcast to help to bring attention to this. We would love to do it, because that's a real thing, man. You want to have a good musical scene in your town. It's just the only way you're going to combat all these other shitty artists that are just getting really big for no good reason.
Yeah, we'll talk about that with him.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I would like to bring in Steph, if that's cool with you guys.
Wait. Are they going to end all pay-for-play?
That's the goal, man.
Even the ones with the little masseuses?
No, probably.
If the war gets...
We're going to do our best.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we'll do our very, very best.
I guess
but we also have to find solutions and other ways to make money for the artists and for everybody as well.
Cool. You want to bring in Steph, man?
Let's do it.
All right. Steph.
What's up, guys?
What's happening?
Meow is happening.
Health is happening.
Well, let me just play your health and such music.
There's music? Oh, yeah, you did have that.
So what topic do you have to talk to us today about?
Well, this just came out on the news a couple of days ago. It is the overruling of the End of Life Act in California. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it is the self-administered use of life-ending drugs. Pretty much it's the choice to end your own life if you have a terminal illness. And there's a lot of requirements that go into... Is
it because of the euthanasia laws or whatever?
Yeah, pretty much. But this is actually like the patient is self-administering their own drug that's prescribed by a physician that participates. There's a lot of requirements involved. You have to be terminally ill, dead within 6 months type of thing. You actually have to be a resident of California and own a driver's license or registered to vote. There's a lot of requirements for you to actually qualify for this type of...
Why would you have to want... Why would they need you to vote if you're going to be expiring soon?
Well, there's a lot of...
That's some unnecessary red tape right there.
There's a lot of shit that comes into effect, man.
Because the whole point of being a doctor is to save lives. So
do no harm, yeah.
So when this End of Life Act came to be, they wanted to make sure that the patient is aware of like the different treatment options, such as hospice, palliative care, or going to support groups.
Basically, use all the resources they can, right?
Try to use all the resources, and you also have to go through a mental health counselor to make sure that you're mentally capable of administering your own dosage of life-ending drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But before all that happens, you actually have to be in one of the 9 states that actually have this legal option. And then one of the California rules, like I said before, you have to either have your own California driver's license, file your income taxes, or register to vote, or own property in the state. So you actually have to be a part of California somehow, or one of the other states. And so what happened I know, right? One of the judges, it was actually a Riverside judge, Supreme Court judge named Daniel Orelia, actually overturned. Yes. He overturned the ruling, saying that it was actually unconstitutional to legalize the act because it was some kind of special session. But I don't really know politics, so I don't know what kind of special act they're talking about. And
special act A.
Gross. So now
I'd supervise that.
There's actually terminally ill patients that might actually have the life-ending drugs, but since this act has been banned,
they have to give it back, or can they just use it? And nobody can. Who's going to stop them?
During this time period, because there's actually going to be a...
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
That's what I thought.
Not anymore.
So for the patients that have these life-ending drugs, currently, it's kind of like if they take it, it's actually suicide at this point, and it becomes illegal. And the physician's name is on it, too. So their license is kind of on the line.
Oh, okay.
Because
there's liabilities at hand.
There's a liability, and there's a lot of checklists that they have to go through and all these things like that. Patients, I don't know if they're going to actually think about doing it, or they have to wait because there's like a suicide issue into which insurance gets involved, and if you commit suicide, then insurance won't pay for a lot of things. So this becomes a big problem with trying to pay off medical expenses. So if it's suicide, you won't get your medical expenses covered. And so that's why a lot of people are upset and might not take the drug. And now they either go into this hospice or palliative care and have to take more medicine.
Basically suffer the rest of their livable lives.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or like go to another country and like die there.
Or they can, no, there's
which
no
is fucked up.
Well, there's really no time for them to move to another one of these states because you have to establish residency there, and it takes a long time. So there's going to be sort of like a rebuttal against it happening about a month from now. I think they have 1 month. June 29, I believe I read.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But for right now.
End of the month.
So can you tell us what maybe advantages this would have for somebody who wants that to get euthanized? I mean, does this pretty much just take it off the hands of the person actually doing it for someone else? What's the main reason they would start to allow somebody to administer their own life-ending drug?
So,
what was the main motivation is probably my question. If you know that.
One of the biggest cases...
I wasn't expecting you to know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I read it just a little while ago, and it just...
I would imagine, though, it takes the actual act of maybe somebody administering...
What the hell is the question, really?
There was
Dude, how high are you?
No, like, what's the question you're, like, getting at? You kind of were bouncing around over there.
No, it wasn't. I thought it was very clear towards the end. David?
Well, you stumbled a couple of times on the way to the end.
Well, I know he was asking what initially started the whole process behind getting it.
Yeah, what was the motivation to even leading up to having a drug where you would just give to a patient to self-administer? Like, why was that created?
Basically, I would think life expectancy is real low, or
no, because a doctor used to be able to euthanize someone. And I think maybe that was a motivator where, just give it to somebody to give to themselves, probably.
Yeah, it was a famous case. I don't know. It's lost off the top of my head.
Find it on the internet, everyone.
Right?
All right, well,
yeah, the more you know. But let's just say, well, I think you're trying to ask me what's the benefit of it, right? So let's just say that
that'll work.
Let's just say that you have like stage 4 lung cancer and that it's uncurable. So at this point, you're struggling to breathe. It's like breathing out of a straw. Mm-hmm. And they can't cut out the tumor, and they can't save you. So you got like 3-4 months to live. You're
basically slowly bleeding to death. So why the fuck wouldn't you want out?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But you have to be mentally and physically able to actually deliver the drugs yourself. It's a pill, and it kind of relaxes you, puts you to sleep, and then you stop breathing. So it's painless.
Yeah. Well,
imagine if no, never mind. Yeah, it's probably painless. Let's just leave it at that.
Imagine if it's not. Is that what you were going to say?
I guess we'll never know, right? I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, again. Yeah. I guess it wouldn't matter at that point.
Let's
but
hope it is. I would hope it would be.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
Suck if it's like you go.
The
to
last
sleep
thing that you ever feel is just absolute pain.
At least it ends,
Oh my God! I see demons. I see demons.
Pretty much, man. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
You understand now, little guy?
Yeah, man. Thanks.
So let's hope this I don't know if it's going to be temporary, but let's hope this ban gets overruled, because I mean, if we get something terminal illness, later on in life, I would love to just
clock out.
Yep.
I think I would jump out of a plane and be like, "Oh no, my parachute didn't work."
Oh, go out in style
you
like
would
that.
have a lot of time to stare at that ground and reconsider your decision.
You'd pull the string.
Yeah.
You totally would.
You get 100 feet
You
from the
fucking
ground,
coward.
pull it. It's too late, and then decision's final.
Yeah, you might not even die.
Oh yeah, that's the worst part. And then you really can't die because it's not a terminal illness.
Oh fuck!
You end up in
dude.
a coma. You can't make that decision. Like, he was trying to go skydiving.
Shit.
He had an accident.
Or are there any laws about comas that let them put you out of your misery? Because
no, but I mean, if you want, just give me like $20. I'll put a pillow on your face.
I think you just incriminated yourself here.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Yeah. All right.
Just
he didn't give me $20.
Just give him. No, it's called.
Guys.
Just give him the advance directive. He gets to make all your legal decisions when you're medically incapacitated.
I'd be down to walk through a portal.
Nice.
Okay.
Even if it's an experimental one, and you die as soon as you walk through. Fuck it, right? I'd run into.
All right. Well, anything else, Steph?
No, that's it. Oh.
Quit asking like you're taking her order, man.
So write your congressman, because you know what the opposite of progress is.
And where can people write to?
It's Congress.
Is there their city hall or the name of their congressman?
Their congressman, yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Right. Well, then everybody go out and do that. And it's very important if you want to.
Everyone should already know this, by the way. If you don't, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has a computer in their pocket. I say it all the time.
No, you don't. Actually, sometimes you talk about music.
Yeah, sometimes I do that too. With my phone. Good job, Dave.
Thanks.
All right. So next segment. I should have just kept it going, but we got a little science. So today, my science app, it alerted me of a pretty interesting article. Researchers create the first 3D printed human cornea. One of the most important parts of the eye that allows humans to see is the outer layer known as the cornea. The part of the eye has a key role in focusing. For people with cornea problems, the only hope of clear vision is a cornea transplant from a donor, which are hard to come by. Researchers have now been able to 3D print the first human corneas that could eliminate the shortage, which I thought was pretty dope.
What source is that?
This is from slashgear.com. Slashgear.